back to War Machines. Last time we saw the return of our defending champ, Hydra, who managed to win its fight and advance to the next round. We also saw several returning competitors and several newcomers also advance to the next round of this tournament. We will see many more returners and newcomers in this episode, looking to show off what they can do and show off their potential towards getting one of the 3 War Machines titles. Let's see what's on tonight's fight card. We will lead off the episode in the Robot Wars class, where we will see the Flipper of Gravity take on the Crusher of Thunderbird 5. Next, we will see the first appearance of one of the Robot Wars house robots, who will be in this tournament as a competitor, as we will see Matilda take on Megamouse along with Megamouse's Minibot. Our third fight of the night is one you won't want to miss, as we will see the front hinged flipper of Catalyst take on the horizontal spinners of Electric Ray. Fourth, we have a rematch from last season between the flipper of Bronco and the full body spinner of Captain Shrederator. Next, we have 2 more returners from last season, as Chaos 2 will take on the horizontal spinner of Mechamore. Fight number 6 features the Wedgebot Limpet, who will take on the full body spinner of Typhoon 2. Following those, we have our first 5 highlight fights of the season, basically meaning we will only see clips and the result of each of these fights. And the first one features 2 newcomers in the Battlebots and Bugglebots class, as the drum spinner of Daisy Cutter will take on the horizontal spinner of The Apprentice. Next, we'll find out if the Wedge of Alcoholic Stepfather will survive the horizontal spinner of Hypnodisc. Following that, we have what is probably the most unique design in War Machines, Gripper, who will take on the Egg Beater of Shiny. Next, we have one of the coolest looking bots in the competition, who happens to be Banana Drive, who will take on Chompalot. The last highlight fight for the night features last season's runner-up, Black Dragon, who will take on the full body spinner of Wyo. The next fight we'll be seeing features the 2 horizontal spinners of 13 Black, who will be taking on the full body spinner of Megabyte. Following that, we'll see a flipper battle between Foxtrot and Nexus that should be exciting. And then finally, we have tonight's main event, and I am looking forward to this one, as it features the drum spinner of Minotaur and the Crusher of Quantum. What a fight that should be. What a lineup that we will be seeing tonight, and let's now get to the first fight. We will start in the Robot Wars class tonight, as our first fight is between Gravity and Thunderbird 5, 2 Robot Wars competitors. We got Gravity on one side, a powerful flipper, and yes, I mean powerful, as this thing was probably the most powerful flipper bot in Robot Wars Series 7. But one big problem, even though I don't think it'll be much of an issue, is those 2 exposed wheels. On the other side, we have Thunderbird 5, a crusher bot. That thing is very low to the ground, but their weakness is that if they get flipped over, they cannot move, and they will probably get counted out for immobilization unless assisted by an opponent. And who do they happen to be up against? They happen to be up against a flipper bot. So Gravity could very well take advantage of that weakness if Thunderbird 5 is not careful. So now, let's get to the fight. Gravity making their way towards Thunderbird 5, but Thunderbird 5 seems to be lower to the ground from the front than Gravity. That could be something to watch in this fight, as Gravity struggled to get underneath Thunderbird there. Comes Gravity trying an approach from the side, but so far just unable to get under them. Tried using that flipper there, but didn't really help them. Now Thunderbird 5, could they use that crusher on Gravity? No. Right now, Gravity really struggling against Thunderbird right now, and that could be a big problem coming into this fight. So right now, Gravity trying another approach from the side, but just can't get under them. This is big problems right now. Thunderbird is giving some Gravity a bunch of big problems here. Gravity just can't get that flipper underneath. Well, the gravity did manage to push them right into the rails, but now Thunderbird right back on the attack, as is Gravity trying to find the right angle here to use that flippers. We haven't seen it even once. We're a little over a minute into this fight. Right now, Thunderbird 5 has got to be in the lead right now. Gravity trying another approach on the sides, but still just can't get under them. We gotta see a flip out of them if they are to win this fight. As I gotta say, Thunderbird will probably win this fight if it goes to the judges and we didn't see a single flip out of Thunderbird. Thunderbird tried to use that flipper to keep the Crusher off them, didn't really help them much, but now Gravity was the one who had to self-right, and Gravity takes Thunderbird right into the rails. We got a little over a minute left, and there's a flip by Gravity, and another one. And now Thunderbird can't self-right, but Gravity leading them towards the pit button and tosses them out of the arena, and that's gonna do it for this one. I gotta say, Gravity barely wins this fight, as this was a very close call here, as Gravity was struggling big time for the first almost 2 minutes of the fight here. Just couldn't get that flipper underneath that, and that gave Gravity a bunch of big problems here, and Thunderbird took advantage of it big time. But Gravity did eventually get that flipper underneath Thunderbird, and it was all over for Thunderbird from there. As Thunderbird couldn't self-right, couldn't really do much about it, and eventually got tossed out of the arena. What a fight to lead off this episode, and let's get to the next one, which features Matilda and Megamouse, also from the Robot Wars classes. We will remain in there. If you haven't seen the information episode, Matilda and Shunt will be appearing in the Robot Wars class as competitors. While you may think that is unfair, because like in Robot Wars Series 8 through 10, house robots are like around triple the weight of the regular competitors, these are their Series 6 or 7 designs, so they are approximately the same weight as a majority of the competitors we will be seeing in this class. So they are beatable here. So it is possible to beat them, so it is fair. We will be seeing Matilda in this one, who has a lifter up front and a spinner in the back. Definitely those multiple weapons is definitely a big strength for Matilda, but if they get flipped over, they do have trouble self-righting, so that could be something Megamouse, their opponent, could take advantage of, who is a flipper bot. It's not there in the image, but they do have a mini-bot, Minimouse, who is a lighter version of Megamouse. But they do have a lack of push power here, which could be a big problem in this one, and is something that Matilda can take advantage of. Can't wait to see this fight, so now let's get to this one. I lied, one last thing. Also, because Megamouse is 75 to 80% of the weight in this combo between Megamouse and their mini-bot, Matilda only needs to KO the main bot in order to get the knockout, since Megamouse is over 60% of the weight of this dupe. Here comes the cluster bots looking to gang up on Matilda here, but now Matilda trying to lead that flywheel and gets flipped instead. Can Matilda self-right? Here comes both Mouse is here. Both using those flippers on Matilda, and Matilda self-rights. Good teamwork by Mega and Minimouse here. Now Matilda gets a flip in on Megamouse. They only need to KO Megamouse in order to win this fight. They don't have to KO Minibot or Minimouse according to the rules for this tournament. Another flip, but Matilda able to self-right through the use of their lifter, and now the other Minibots on the chase. We saw some friendly fire there as Megamouse tossed its own Minibot here. But now Minimouse comes back for revenge. Nearly gets the flip on Megamouse there. But now we see Megamouse trying to get underneath Matilda, struggling to do so, and Mighty Mouse, are they stuck on their backside there? I think they flipped themselves right there. and they look like they're stuck. The Minibot is being counted out right now. Could this be a relief for Matilda? Knowing Matilda would only have to deal with one bot now, but now they take a flip. Mini Mighty Mouse has been counted out now, so now it's a one-on-one fight here. Since Mini Mighty Mouse was less than 40% of the weight there, this fight will keep going on. I meant less than 60%. Right now, Matilda gotta be relieved that it's a one-on-one fight right now. Matilda trying to use that lifter as the spinner just wasn't working out. But now Matilda almost gets a flip in. There's a big flip by Matilda. It's the house robot using their push power to their advantage in this one. Using that big time. Just not allowing Mega Mouse to use that flipper. But now Matilda with control over them, pushing them, looking to put them down the pit. Pushes them down it, and that's going to do it for this one, and Matilda will move on to the next round. Matilda first trying to use that destructive flywheel that Matilda is very well known for, but it just wasn't working out as Mega Mouse got quite a few flips in off of that. Now, as I gotta say, Mega Mouse and Mini Mighty Mouse, those two were quite a duo until that happened, resulting in the Mini Mighty Mouse getting flipped over and getting stuck on their backside and unable to get back on track there. And Matilda eventually managed to get underneath them, take control of them, and then push them down the pit. What a victory for Matilda, and I look forward to seeing this bot in the next round. We'll find out if Mega Mouse will get a wild card out of their performance in this one. Coming up next, we will go to the Battlebots and Bugglebots class for the first time tonight, as we will see the front hinge flipper of Catalyst take on returner from last season, Electric Ray. On one side, we have Catalyst, a front hinge flipper and a newcomer to War Machines. Right now, that bot has a powerful front hinge flipper and a lot of push power. But the big problem, though, are those exposed sides and possibly those two exposed wheels they have. Those could be stuff their opponent Electric Ray can take advantage of, returner to War Machines, but had an early exit last season when they ran into Witch Doctor in the first round. This bot has two horizontal spinners who are very powerful, but this bot does tend to have difficult control issues here. Those will definitely be something to watch in this one. So now that this is all done with, let's get to the fight. Catalyst quick out of the gate. Looks like they were looking to box rush Electric Ray. They take a minor hit. There's a big hit, but Electric Ray getting sent back. Right now, how well is Catalyst holding up, though? I see some smoke, and we saw some shots to the backside of Catalyst from Electric Ray. Electric Ray avoiding that front hinge flipper very well and getting some damage in with those spinners. There was another nice shot. Catalyst opens up the pit, but I think the pit was already open. Taking another big hit is Catalyst in another one. But Electric Ray is the one that's getting sent back here. How well are they holding up to that? They seem to be holding up pretty well, but we'll find out if that is true or not later in this fight. Catalyst nearly drives himself into the pit, very close call, but now getting that front hinge flipper in on the action for the first time in this fight. But now are they stuck in the corner there? Takes a hit from on the sides from Electric Ray. Right now, Catalyst trying to do a lot of bullying around the arena using the front of their bot. That is probably a smart decision for a fight like this against a bot like Electric Ray. But now they got to be careful, though, that Catalyst doesn't get to those exposed sides, exposed wheels, whatever's there, as Electric Ray has hit it a few times in this fight. Halfway through this fight here, I don't know, this fight's been quite close so far. But now here comes Catalyst getting ready to approach Electric Ray again, but they flip themselves over. Is Electric Ray going to take advantage of this? Getting a few hits in is Electric Ray, but now approaching right on the floor flipper. It helps Catalyst self-right, but what about Electric Ray, who's spinning out of control, and now Catalyst taking advantage of that, but they take a hit to the backside. 1 minute left to go in this fight. Really close fight so far. Not sure who has the lead right now. So here comes Catalyst once again, taking more hits to the front of their bot. That's probably the best place to take hits, but takes some shots to the backside. They do seem to be holding up quite well, even though we do see some smoke coming out of Catalyst here. Now we got a stalemate here between the front of these two bots, but not anymore as Catalyst got underneath them. Used that front hinge flipper, but I see some bits coming off of the top of Catalyst there. His Electric Ray starting to do some big damage. As right now, Catalyst using that front hinge flipper again, spinning, causing Electric Ray to spin out of control. That's definitely a good strategy there. Taking another hit, but the control board might be in trouble. And down goes the control board with 9 seconds left, and Electric Ray wins by an instant KO there. Right now, Catalyst going right after Electric Ray, showing lots of aggression and control, causing Electric Ray to spin out of control there. That was a decent game plan in this fight, but it's kind of started going wrong every time Electric Ray managed to get to the side, to the backside. Even though they didn't puncture a wheel or anything like that, like what Electric Ray was probably going for, Electric Ray eventually got to the control board. But overall in the fight, we did see they were kind of getting to the electronics. We did see lots of smoke coming out of there, but then this area is what ended the fight here, as we saw their control boards kind of start to get damaged, and then one last shot was all it took for Electric Ray to win and advance to the next round. For our fourth fight of the night, it features a rematch from last season between Bronco and Captain Shrederator, as we saw this in the first round of Heat D last season. We have Bronco on one side with their powerful flipper, as we saw them toss Captain Shrederator around like a rag doll last season. But of course, one big problem is they do have a limited supply of flips here, along with those exposed wheels and sides. And I bet Captain Shrederator, their opponent, will be trying to take advantage of that. We got Captain Shrederator, a full body spinner here, as we've seen a lot of those so far this season. They do have a powerful spinner, but they cannot self-right if they get flipped over, which could be a big problem knowing they are up against a flipper bot. So right now I am very excited for this rematch, but before we get to the rematch, let's see some highlights from these two's meeting last season. Last season when these two bots met, Bronco was just on the attack right from the start, landing a lot of entertaining flips that we love to see here. Right now, Bronco just never gave Captain Shrederator a chance, just landing flip after flip, tossing them around like a rag doll, despite the damage they were taking throughout the fight, and eventually got Captain Shrederator all the way out of the arena. So now, let's get to this rematch. Here comes Bronco right on the attack again, looking at the same strategy as last time, getting a flip and another one. There's another flip by Bronco. Bronco's just not giving Shrederator a chance, as we see a big flip right there. Bronco's got them in the corner there. Shrederator's now flipped over. This is definitely going to be a big problem. Shrederator needs some breathing room and fast. Now they are flipped over, but Bronco comes in. They want some more. Lands a big flip on Shrederator. Here comes Bronco once again, taking a big hit. I see a piece of Bronco, though, so that spinner is doing some damage. We saw another big flip by Bronco, but now they are on the attack. Shrederator did self-right, and they were getting that spinner up to speed, but they take another flip, another one. Shrederator just barely stays in the arena. Here comes Bronco and tossing them out of the arena once again, and Bronco is 2-0 in this rivalry. Bronco, just like last season, just was right on the attack from the very start of this fight, not allowing Shrederator to do a ton of damage to them, and they just landed flip after flip. We sure love to see flips from bots like Bronco and Hydra, and boy, Bronco did provide a lot of those for us today. We did see Captain Shrederator do some damage, but Bronco easily held up and was able to toss Captain Shredder out of the arena, get the knockout, and advance to the next round. Captain Shredder will be awaiting after the next few episodes to find out if they happen to get one of the 14 wild cards that will be offered for this class. Our next fight of the night is the first one of the night for the DSL class, which is between two returners from last season. We have Chaos 2 and Mechamore, both who had early exits last season. We have Chaos 2 on one side, only Robot Wars competitor to win Robot Wars twice if they manage to do it. It's that powerful flipper, and yes, that thing does have a lot of power to it. One possible issue is that those sides, and even their flipper at times, are well known to being quite delicate here, and that will be something to watch here, as their opponent, Mechamore, could take advantage of that with the use of their horizontal spinner. I gotta say, that horizontal spinner dishes out quite a bit of damage, as we saw it cause quite a bit of damage in their opening round fight that they unfortunately fell in against K2. I expect we're probably going to see some big damage coming from that thing in this fight, or even this season too, but of course, their weakness, which their opponent can take advantage of this too, is that if they get flipped over while they have that top piece on, they cannot self-right. We'll have to find out who takes advantage of whose weaknesses here in this fight, and let's now get to it. Here we go. It's Chaos 2 looking like they're going to try to find the right angle here. Takes a hit to the side, and another hit as Mechamore goes almost over the top of Chaos 2. Running with the sides, we see a piece of the side armor on Chaos 2 come off, and Chaos 2 gets a flip. Mechamore upside down. They cannot self-right in this situation. Could a countdown be coming real soon? Chaos 2 opens up the pit. Are they going to try to put Mechamore down it? One more flip, and Mechamore falls down the pit, and Chaos 2 wins it in 33 seconds. There was not a lot of action in this one, as this fight was 33 seconds long, as I just said. But boy, we saw some great moments out of this one. Mechamore took some chunks out of Chaos 2 there, but that flip was all it took for Chaos 2 to get the victory. Mechamore definitely could be on the list of getting a wild card there, as they had a wonderful performance in this fight. Chaos 2 will advance to the next round. Mechamore awaits whether they got a wild card or not. Our next fight of the night features us going back to the Robot Wars class, where we will see a fight between Limpet and Typhoon 2. On one side we have Limpet, a wedge design. That thing is very well armored, it is quite durable, and it has a lot of push power. Bet we can see some big things about this. But a couple problems that this bot has is that it is not as effective upside down. It doesn't have a self-right mechanism while it can drive upside down, but it's not exactly effective when upside down. And also, if this fight had to go to the judges, this wedge doesn't have a lot of damaging power to it. This bot was made to be really aggressive and control a lot of fights, and I expect we could be seeing a lot of that in this fight. On the other side, we have Typhoon 2, the Robot Wars Series 7 champion. Full body spinner there. That spinner has a lot of power to it. It is quite a durable bot as well. One big problem that I bet Limpet will take advantage of in this fight is that this bot is very unstable. There is a chance if Limpet charges right into that spinner that you could see Typhoon 2 spinning out of control. And while that is uncontrolled movement, that will be counted as movement this season. so that could be a disadvantage for Limpet, but you could see Limpet possibly open up the Pit of Oblivion and try to put them in through that strategy. Now, let's get to the fight. Here comes Limpet charging at Typhoon 2, trying to box rush them, takes a hit from the spinner, and another one. Typhoon 2 seems a little unstable there, bouncing up and down a little bit. Could that be a problem? Could that be what Limpet was trying to do? There was another hit right there. Limpet just taking its wedge right in Typhoon 2, and Typhoon 2 is spinning out of control. Limpet opens up the pit, kind of like what they planned, what their strategy was going to be. Can they get Typhoon 2 down the pit of Oblivion? Taking another hit, and Typhoon 2 goes flying. Reminder that Typhoon 2 will not be counted out through this kind of movement. The fight will not be called off at all. So now Limpet trying to lead Typhoon 2 towards the pit of Oblivion. Typhoon 2 kind of making their way towards it. Now here comes Limpet trying to come in with another shove. But they gotta be careful not to go in the pit themselves, though, as we nearly saw them go in there. Typhoon 2 down the pit of Oblivion, and this fight ends in a knockout for Limpet. Limpet, just like what they planned, they were planning on charging right at Typhoon 2, going right for the weapon there, looking to cause them to spin completely out of control, and I think they accomplished that pretty well. Pretty much what Limpet was doing from there, all Limpet needed to do from there was open up the pit and possibly give Typhoon 2 a few pushes and lead them right to it. Fantastic win for Limpet. Limpet, we will see them in the next round. Typhoon 2 will be awaiting to see if they got a wild card back into the tournament. Fantastic fight that we just saw. For our first highlight fight of the season, we return to the Battlebots Bugglebots class, where we will see the drum spinner of Daisy Cutter take on the horizontal spinner of The Apprentice. Daisy Cutter kind of had a bouncy start to this one, and The Apprentice took advantage of that big time, managed to push Daisy Cutter around the arena through the use of that wedge, and managed to chew up Daisy Cutter with that horizontal spinner, and eventually it was too much for Daisy Cutter as their control board fell quite quickly. Next up, we have the well-armored wedge of Alcoholic Stepfather, who will take on the deadly horizontal spinner of Hypnodisc. The fight started off nicely for Alcoholic Stepfather, as they were very quickly and very easily just taking control of Hypnodisc, just not allowing Hypnodisc to get many big shots in, as they were quickly getting underneath Hypnodisc and just ramming them into the rails. Hypnodisc was losing a lot of aggression and control points very quickly into the fight here. But of course, the turning point did happen right about here, when Alcoholic Stepfather got flipped over where their wedge was not as effective, and Hypnodisc just went absurd with that spinner, and despite doing almost no damage, they won a unanimous judge's decision, and Hypnodisc will advance to the next round. Our third highlight fight features one of the most interesting designs in the competition. We have the Spikebot of Gripper, who will take on the Egg Beater of Shiny. We saw Gripper taking advantage of their lower ground and superior push power in this one very early in the fight, but bad news started for Gripper when during these weapon-on-weapon exchanges we saw them lose their spike that they were dropping right on Shiny. But despite losing their weapon, they held up very well to Shiny's Egg Beater and used their superior push power to eventually get Shiny down the pit of Oblivion and win this fight by knockout. Next up, we have another really good looking design, as we have Banana Drive and their wedge. They will take on the the Grabber of Chompalot. Things did not start off strong for Banana Drive. Very quickly, Chompalot managed to get in there and knock the Banana Queen off, completely disrespecting Banana Drive. And with that grabber, Chompalot managed to control the fight completely and eventually could get Banana Drive down the pit of Oblivion and won it by knockout. Last but not least, we we have last season's runner-up, Black Dragon and their Egg Beater spinner, taking on the full body spinner of Wyo. Things did not start strong for Wyos. While they did get a bunch of weapon-on-weapon collisions at the beginning, they were quickly flipped, and they cannot drive upside down here. And Black Dragon took advantage of that, still decided to come in for more. They wanted to put up a heck of a show and continue to come in and cause more damage with that spinner. Black Dragon took chunks out of that spinner just to show the power in that Egg Beater. And eventually, Wyo got counted out, and Black Dragon won this thing by knockout. Black Dragon is back, and they are looking to go one step further. Big congrats to all 5 bots who won their highlight fight: Apprentice, Hypnodisc, Gripper, Chompalot, and Black Dragon. All 5 of them, we will see them in the next round of this competition. The other 5, lots of them did put on impressive performances. Could see wildcards given out to any of those 5, if not all. If any of those 10 mods were a fan favorite to you, or if there were any of those 5 fights you dying to see, do not worry, because 3 episodes at the end of the season will feature all the highlight fights that didn't make it onto the regular season. So these fights will be shown, but at the end of the season. The next fight of the night, which we are back in the Robot Wars class, features 13 Black and Megabyte. We have 13 Black on one side, Robot Wars contender, who is not 1 but 2 horizontal spinners. One big advantage they will have in this fight is the fact that they have 2 weapons there, and they are in excellent defense there. Of course, big weakness is that those 2 spinners, they can be relatively delicate, and if they lose any of those spinners, those areas will be unprotected from the full body spinner of their opponent, Megabyte. Megabyte, a Robo Games competed in many other competitions. That is a powerful full body spinner. Got a self-righting stick, got a powerful weapon. This bot has a lot. One big problem though is its stability. While it does have a self-righting stick there, it does struggle to stay stable there. Could see problems like that arising in this fight if they are not careful. I am looking forward to this one, and let's now get to the fight. Both bots getting their spinners up to full speed, coming in for a few weapon-on-weapon exchanges here. I bet we are going to be seeing a lot of those as 13 Black. That's what they probably want to do. But right now, I think Megabyte seems to be winning a majority of these exchanges so far. 13 Black going flying, another big hit there. Megabyte seems to be winning most of these exchanges here. Taking another hit is 13 Black. Here comes Megabyte giving out another big hit. And off comes one of the spinners of 13 Black, but Megabyte spinning out of control, and they have righted themselves. 13 Black down to 1 spinner here. Why aren't they leading with the other spinner? Is it possible that they're trying to slow down that spinner on Megabyte and then maybe come in with that other spinner, try to dish out some big damage, since Megabyte seems to be winning a majority of these weapon-on-weapon exchanges? That can be a very risky change to their strategy here, but it seems like that's what's going on. Now we got Megabyte taking 13 Black around the arena, pushing them around, but then they get away, get enough breathing room to get that spinner back going up to speed. I see some smoke coming out of 13 Black. I think they are in trouble here. Comes Megabyte dishing out hit after hit with that spinner, almost ramming themselves right into the rails. They don't want to do that here. 13 Black's control board appears to be in trouble here, and takes out the control board is Megabyte, and Megabyte wins this fight by knockout. What a fight we just saw there. Lots of weapon-on-weapon action, but it looked like Megabyte was getting the better of those weapon-on-weapon exchanges, as 13 Black is just getting curled back time after time. But the big problem started about right here when 13 Black lost one of their spinners and left that part of their bot vulnerable. They tried to break the spinner on Megabyte, but it didn't work out so well in their favor, as Megabyte managed to destroy the control board and win this fight by knockout. Fantastic fight that we just saw. Next up, we have a flipper battle from the Battlebots and the Bugglebots class, where we will see Battlebot Foxtrot take on Bugglebot Nexus. Two excellent flipper bots here. Two very cool looking designs here. We'll start off with Foxtrot. Flipper bot, as said before, this bot has a lot of push power to it. The flipper is decent as well. The big problem, even though their opponent probably won't take advantage of that much, it does expose wheels. But their sides are exposed, and I can see their opponent Nexus taking advantage of that. Another flipper bot, another powerful flipper bot. This thing is also quite low to the ground. It's very well armored if it goes up against a spinner bot. But the big problem is, along with the exposed sides thing, if they have a misflip here, there's a chance that they might flip themselves over in the process. No matter what happens here, I am very much looking forward to this fight, so let's get right on to it. Foxtrot and Nexus, both of them charging at each other. Looks like they're each trying to find the right angle to attack one another. But Nexus, a misflip there. Foxtrot takes advantage of that and gets a flip in on Nexus. Excellent job by Foxtrot there to take advantage of that mistake by Nexus. But now Nexus on the attack gets a flip on Foxtrot, and now Nexus is on the attack big time. Foxtrot looks like they can self-right through the use of their own flipper there. Taking another flip as Foxtrot, but they land right side up. Nexus seems to be the one lower to the ground between the two bots. That will definitely be something to watch if that continues or if something like that changes. Foxtrot trying to come at the right angle. They're underneath Nexus once again, getting a near flip in. And now they get flipped once again. Foxtrot once again, nearly landing another flip, taking a ride there. And now Foxtrot right underneath Nexus, but not exactly underneath them. But they take another flip. Foxtrot's got to get out of the corner, but Nexus helps them out of it through the use of their flipper. Foxtrot opens up the pit here, thinking they might need to win this fight by knockout if they can't get control of Nexus, as Nexus is just taking control at every turn with that flipper. We have seen some controlled aggression out of Foxtrot, but I think the points right now are in Nexus's favor, at least for now, as we are a little more than halfway into this fight. But now we see Foxtrot kind of on the attack. Now Foxtrot on the attack again, trying to find the right angle. Nexus denying Foxtrot their sides right now. Brilliant job of it. Comes Foxtrot hanging around the floor flipper. I wonder if they're trying to use that hazard against Nexus. Could be possible, and that would help them take control of this right here. We have less than a minute to go. And right now, we see these two circling around each other a lot here, trying to find the right angle on each other. And we see a few more flips from Nexus. 30 seconds to go here. I think Nexus has the lead on points, but Foxtrot is definitely not far behind as they've gotten some control. There's a few flips by Foxtrot, and now Foxtrot is ramming Nexus against the rails here. 20 seconds left to go in this fight. And now Nexus on the chase once again, getting another flip. We got 10 seconds now. Comes Foxtrot trying to get one last push in there, and they do. They get another flip right as the clock hits 0, and this fight is going to the judges. And what a fight we just saw here. It's an action Boltbot's primary weapon here. This was an excellent fight. As I gotta say, Nexus definitely had a big point advantage for a majority of the first 2 minutes, but we did see Foxtrot gain a lot of action at that flipper a little bit during that time, and we saw quite a bit of that at the end. This should be a very close decision. There wasn't a lot of damage provided, but that still could be the key quality in this decision here. As I'd say, control and aggression, even though Nexus had a lot of it, I'd say they were probably relatively even as in point distribution. What a fight we just saw. An excellent fight out of both bots here. Let's hear what the judges had to say. I expect this could be a much closer decision than what a lot of people might think. So now, let's hear what they had to say. The judges' results are in, and it was unanimous in favor of Nexus. I agree with that decision, but still, great effort by Foxtrot there, as we just saw a little more out of Nexus through the use of their primary weapon. But I expect Foxtrot put up a heck of a fight. They will definitely be a major contender for a wild card. Don't want to assume that they will get it, as we still have a lot of fights left to go. Like, for example, we have Endgame vs. Shatter coming up next. 2 Battlebots who each have major potential to take a giant nut in that competition. On one side, we have Endgame, who fell in the first round of the semifinals last season to K2. That vertical spinner is nasty, as we have seen a lot of power, a lot of destruction out of that thing. But while that thing is very powerful, the weapon is quite delicate, as we have seen bits and pieces break off of the weapon in every one of their fights. So we have for their opponent, we have Shatter, a hammer bot, who lost a judge's decision in the second round of their heat to Rotator. And that one was relatively close. Shatter's big advantage is they are very well armored, and that hammer can fire so many times. But I expect Endgame will be trying to take advantage of those exposed sides that Shatter has, because they will probably want to avoid the front of Shatter as much as possible. I am very much looking forward to this, as this is like a clash of the titans here. So now, before we get to the fight, let's see some highlights from one of the competitors that we will be seeing in this next fight. Endgame, who's caused some major destruction with the use of that horizontal spinner and low ground game aimed from those wedgelets, as we've seen them send many opponents flying around the arena and tossing many of them out of the arena. We saw them winning lots of weapon-on-weapon exchanges, causing some significant damage to their opponents, as they dominated their way through their heat, including getting past Big Dog Stone in their heat final. But things did not go so hot for them in their first semifinal matchup with K2. While it was close, they sadly were the ones who had to exit the competition. So now, let's get to this fight between Endgame and Shatter, as Endgame looks to make their return. Endgame getting their spinner up to full speed. Here comes Shatter with a misfire with that hammer. And Shatter lands a hit, but takes a shot from Endgame's spinner and takes a few more hits from that spinner. Endgame spinner so powerful here. Shatter probably wants to try to avoid it as much as possible, but Endgame is just not allowing them to get away. Shatter landing a few hammer shots here. How much damage are they doing with that, though? They are getting some major points out of it, and now taking a few more hits from Endgame's spinner. And Endgame has them in the corner now. And now Endgame moving towards the tire, opening up the pit of Oblivion. They do look a little shaky though. Could that spinner have taken damage during the last exchange? Endgame right at the sides of Shatter. And then taking a few more hits from Shatter's hammer and landing a big hit that sends Shatter flying. Endgame doing what they do best, but it looks like they lost a wedgelet recently. Still, despite taking that damage, they are still on the attack, causing lots of mayhem here. Hit after hit from Endgame, they are just not allowing Shatter to get away. And I think smoke is starting to come out of Shatter here. That will be something to watch as this fight continues. Shatter now underneath Endgame, trying to land a few more hits. Misfires one there. Another misfire, and then there's a hit by Endgame. Shatter takes a shot from the floor flipper that helps himself right here. And now Endgame landing a few more big hits. And now Endgame underneath Shatter once again, leading them towards the pit and puts them down it, and Endgame wins and advances by knockout. What a fight we just saw here. Definitely a clash of the Titans, as I said before. Endgame landing a ton of big hits like what they are well known in this competition and in Battlebots 4. We did see a lot of hammer shots out of Shatter, but we don't really know exactly just how much damage they were doing, other than knocked off wedgelet there. Still, Shatter did put up a major performance in this one, and even though they were put down the pit near the end of the fight, we definitely could see them in the running for one of the 14 wildcard spots in this class. Brilliant fight, an excellent fight to have before we get to our main event, which is next. This fight will be a fun one, as we have two bots that made the top 16 in Battlebots 2018. We have Minotaur on one side, who fell in their heat final to K2, and then fell once again in their wildcard fight, but by a driving mistake that involved them pushing Valkyrie and themselves down the pit of oblivion during that fight. They returned, and they are looking to go a lot further than they did in the last season. That drum spinner is very well known for being destructive, but those exposed sides and as well their turning ability gets rough when that drum spinner hits at full speed. Could be weaknesses their opponent Quantum, who unfortunately had a first round exit against Vita last season, but they are back and they are looking forward this season. That bot has a powerful crusher, but their sides are quite delicate here to spinner attacks, and they are up against a spinner. It will be fair to see how they take on Minotaur in this one. This should be both an interesting and a really fun main event. But before we get to the fight, let's see some highlights from last season of the Brazilian Bowl. Last season, we saw Minotaur cause major amounts of havoc in the first two rounds of their heat, managing to destroy their opponents, cause major amounts of damage, and leaving their opponents out in a bin bag. As we saw many pieces coming off both of their first two opponents, but things did not go so well from there when they took on K2 in the final, who managed to cause a major amount of damage to win that fight, but Minotaur did have one last chance to get back into the tournament through their wildcard rumble with Rotator and Valkyrie. And while they did seem to be winning the fight, a simple driving mistake changed that, pushing themselves and Valkyrie down the pit. Now it is main event time. Let's get to this fight. Both bots charging at the other here. Minotaur gained their drum up to speed, and they're right on the sides, right on the underside of Quantum. This is exactly the right place where Minotaur would want to be. Just chewing up the underside. I see pieces of Quantum flying off already. Minotaur is very well known for causing major amounts of damage here, and they are causing a lot of it already, and I think they hurt Quantum. Quantum seems to be stuck in forward drive or something like that. We don't see them really turning and pointing that crusher towards them, but because they are still moving, Minotaur coming in for another attack, chewing off the backside of Quantum and the sides. Major amounts of bits and pieces. There was a near opportunity, but Minotaur chops off a piece of the wedge, chops off 4 pieces. Is Quantum moving? You see movement now. Minotaur seems to be winning this fight by quite a bit. They get another flip in, and now they're back to attacking the backside, causing more damage. Minotaur just not giving Quantum a chance. There goes a little more movement from Quantum. Now Minotaur coming from the backside. He sees another big piece and another big fit. And Quantum gets flipped over. But it looks like one of those 2 pieces was a major piece of Quantum's self-righting mechanism. So I don't think Quantum can self-right. Minotaur is just hanging back now. Countdown is coming on Quantum here, who can't self-right. Minotaur doing a little victory dance here. Minotaur has won this main event by knockout. And I gotta say, we didn't see too much out of Quantum in that one. Minotaur was right on the tack from the start. Managed to chew up the underside. And definitely did something to Quantum in that first exchange that caused Quantum to get stuck in forward gear or something like that. As we didn't really see much out of Quantum from there. Quantum did get one opportunity eventually right there to get a bite in, but they just missed, and Minotaur took advantage of that, chopped off a big piece of the wedge, eventually took out 2 big pieces, with one of them being the part of the self-righting mechanism, and all it took was 1 flip, which they accomplished this, and they won this fight by knockout. Excellent main event, excellent performance from Minotaur. We will find out at the end of the opening round if Quantum will be awarded a wild card. What a great fight card that we just witnessed. We saw quite a few newcomers show that they have what it takes to win a War Machines title, and we saw multiple newcomers show that they are back and they are here to win. We will see more of those over the next bunch of episodes when we continue the opening round next. I will hopefully see you next time. Good night.